Welcome to St. Philip the Deacon Lutheran Church once again. This is a Restore 3 series, Healing, Growth, and Benefits Through Exploring Your Story. This is session 2. Thank you for joining us for a second time if you were with us last week. Our intention is to assist you in finding your stories and afford you the opportunity to view your stories with new lenses, to grow and to benefit and to heal as you draw closer to God through your story. Last week, we were expertly guided through stories and some of the nuances of storytelling with the legendary storyteller, Kevin Kling. His stories were poignant, they were witty, caring, philosophical, and humorous. He introduced us to the importance of story. His story, your story, our story. We will be able to find a small part of ourselves in every story you hear. If you missed Kevin last week and his night of stories and the Q&A, they are available through next Tuesday on our YouTube channel, which you can find in the information that I send out to all who are registered or on our spdlc.org/livestream. Kevin is definitely worth spending an hour with. Last week, storyteller. Tonight, we are joined by a professor who will help us delve into our stories. Dr. Kristin Bransford has been with us in a previous Restore series. Thank you, Chris. Kristin Bransford is Emeritus Professor of Psychology at Concordia University in St. Paul and has been a faculty member at this Concordia University since 1999. She taught various courses in the department, including psychology, and co-leads a faculty learning community focusing on the principles of positive psychology. Her scholarly interests include faculty learning communities, positive psychology, engaging learning strategies and in higher education, and had presented at numerous local and national conferences on these topics. She and her family have been a member of St. Philip for 27 years and loves being a part of the Miriam Circle here at St. Philip the Deacon. Dr. Bransford speaks to growth, benefits, and healing from writing your story using Dr. Pennebaker's research. Dr. Bransford, welcome once again. Happy to have you here.
Hello, everyone. Susan, thank you for inviting me to share tonight. I love being part of the Restore series. I learned so much about my topic by connecting and learning from what Kevin Kling discussed last week and from what you'll be discussing tonight. Humor and laughing are so important for our physical and emotional health. Well, I got a great laugh when I saw the picture of me that was displayed before we started tonight. The picture was from about 15 or 20 years ago, and it was a professional picture from a traveling workshop that I did. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, the audience is not even going to recognize me. There have been many stories in my life since that picture was taken. Some of the stories are very positive. Some of the stories positive, some of the stories negative, and some very negative. All of these stories have shaped who I am today, and while I may not be happy that all of these stories occurred, I'm happy to be here tonight and to be able to continue to learn from my stories. As Kevin Kling said last week, stories bring meaning to our experiences. Stories have messages. By telling our story, it doesn't have to control us. And stories are healing. Today, we are going to learn about Dr. Pennebaker's expressive writing process. Writing your story to understand your life experiences for you. What I'll be sharing with you today, my hope is that you'll understand the focus of meaning-based interventions to promote positivity in your life. to understand Dr. Pennebaker's expressive writing process and how it might be helpful for you, and to comprehend the steps to using expressive writing process. The PowerPoint I'm going to share with you provides a detailed guide in the process of expressive writing, and I hope that you'll go back to this PowerPoint as you try this expressive writing process. I'm going to start with a poem that was shared to me, and I would like to have you listen to the story, see if it connects to any part of your life, and really listen to the message that the story or the poem has to say. This is an autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia Nelson. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It's not my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it, it's still there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. Again, take a moment, think about the message of this poem, and think about if any part of the poem connects to you. As I mentioned, a friend shared this poem with me, and I thought it connected to some of my life stories and to what Kevin Kling discussed last week. I love this quote from Kevin that connects to the poem. We are all on a trajectory. Do you want the patterns to stay the same or change it? You can change it. We can walk around the hole in the sidewalk. We can walk down a different street. Stories can help us make our experiences coherent and meaningful so we can learn, grow, and change our patterns, our habits. We can do this with the help from ourselves, help from others, and our faith. Since that picture was taken 15 or 20 years ago, I have fallen into many holes. Some holes that I haven't seen. I have fallen into holes that I have denied, or it has become a habit. One such hole that I've been working on is self-pity. Why can't I have ... I wish that I have, if only I could. The tools that we are sharing this week and next week, as well as my faith, have helped me to learn to go around this hole and down a new street. Like everyone else, it is progress, not perfection, and I have to keep practicing. Dr. Pennebaker's expressive writing process is a meaning-based intervention. He has done many studies, and there's been over 1,000 studies worldwide replicating the physical and psychological benefits of this expressive writing process. Meaning-based interventions boost positivity and help us cope with negative events and emotions. Meaning-based interventions help us understand what brings significance to our lives and events that have occurred, and help us to enhance the meaning of those events. Having meaning in life is associated with well-being and life satisfaction. So today we're going to look at how to use this writing process to enhance meaning from some of those events that have occurred in our life. So as we mentioned, but I just want to express again, stories are an important part of who we are. We need stories to convey ideas and events to others. We need stories to understand emotional upheavals, stressors, both small and large, and events that have happened to us. In the writing process, we are translating emotional experiences into words so that we can have coherence. So how can this process help us? As many of us know, keeping secrets can make people sick. Writing about our secrets, emotional upheavals, can help us create meaning from these events, and we can begin to heal. So the practice of putting emotional upheaval into words help us become less concerned with the emotional events that weigh us down. This process is associated with general enhancement of the immune system, so it helps our physical health. It helps us feel happier, so it helps us with our psychological well-being. And it also boosts our working memory, and this is our ability to think about complex tasks. So again, when we put our emotional upheaval into words, when we're less weighed down, we're able to think about more complex tasks. So again, letting go of emotional upheaval, it helps us to start creating meaning from those experiences. So this process, who can it help? This writing process is helpful for events that might have occurred in the past or are currently occurring that you're thinking about or worrying about. This process is helpful for emotional upheaval that might be a single event or a long-term event that keeps upsetting you, and it's adversely affecting your daily life. It can be helpful for small stressors or significant events, traumas that may be happening. Anything that's interfering with your daily life, this process might be helpful for you. The process can help you deal with important emotional experiences that you may be avoiding, that you may be denying, like I mentioned earlier. Immediately after emotional upheaval and trauma, life is often chaotic and disjointed for people, and that's normal. That happens to most people. Emotional writing begins to make events coherent. So making emotional events coherent, though, is a process, and this may take time. It's not as though when we write that coherence happens all at once. It can take a slow amount of time, or it might happen quickly. Dr. Pennebaker, before we start writing, wants us to think about some things before we start the process. And I wanted to include this because I think it's really important to reflect before we start this process. So the first thing that he emphasizes, if you fear you might be too upset writing about a specific event, don't write about it yet. Write about it another time. You can always come back and write about that event later. The writing process is very explicit, and I'll be taking you through that process. If after a period of 4 days you're not finding it to be helpful, stop and find another approach. Susan's going to be talking about approach later. I'll be talking about another approach next week. People feel happier and less negative after the expressive writing process in the long term. Research has shown that. As I mentioned, there's been over 1,000 studies worldwide that really emphasize this. But it's really important to know this before you start writing, that immediately after writing, people often feel slightly worse for a short period of time, maybe an hour or two. What's really important, and Dr. Pennebaker really emphasizes this, it's important to allow time after your writing session to reflect on your feelings. Dr. Pennebaker says, emotional writing is like seeing a sad movie. You feel sad, but wiser after watching that movie as well as writing. When we're writing, we are experiencing our emotions, some which we may not have thought about before. So after you write each day, take time to relax, maybe meditate, maybe pray. Show some self-compassion after writing, and self-compassion is so important. But I will emphasize that no matter what you do, take some time to reflect after you're writing each day and really take care of yourself. The other thing that Dr. Pennebaker wants you to think about is expressive writing is often not beneficial if the trauma occurred in the last few days or if significant trauma occurred in the last several weeks. If you feel the trauma is still too close, it's probably too early to start writing, and so just wait a little bit. The purpose of expressive writing is for you to be completely honest with yourself. So keep your writing in a secure place if you don't want anyone to see it. This writing is for you. It's for you to be honest about your experiences. It's for you to learn about your experiences. It's for you to grow and create meaning from your experiences. If any of you are dealing with a significant trauma and working with a therapist, it might be important to just talk to your therapist about this expressive writing process and just see if they think it's a good time for you to write or if you should wait. Again, do what you think is most important. Start with the emotional process, emotional upheaval that is bothering you. If you find yourself moving to another topic, that is okay. You're going to have 4 days to write, and so you'll have plenty of opportunities to write about multiple topics, and that's what's really exciting about this process. Trust where your writing takes you. Your writing may lead to many topics, and that is okay as long as these topics are emotionally important to you. Again, as Dr. Pennebaker's research shows, expressive writing is about writing about your deepest feelings and emotions so that you can make coherence and meaning of those experiences. And lastly, deal only with the traumas that are affecting you and you want to write about. This process, as I keep mentioning, but I want to mention again, is for you to make meaning. You'll be writing for 20 minutes continuously for 4 consecutive days. You can write for more days if it's beneficial, and don't worry about grammar or spelling. That's not important. It's getting at the emotions that's important. You can also do what Dr. Pennebaker calls booster writing sessions, and this is a tool that can be used anytime you want. So after you've gone through this process, if you realize, I think I just want to deal with another issue that's happening, another stressor, you can do these booster writing sessions anytime you want. This is something that I think is really important, and I want to stress with you right now. If possible, write at the same time every day to create a ritual. But again, from Dr. Pennebaker's research, if you can't write the same day the same time every day, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But what's really important is to remember to have some time to reflect after each writing session. The key is be honest and open with your feelings and thoughts. This writing is for you. This story is for you. This message is for you to learn and grow and create. Create a ritual for your writing. And this is something that I want to really emphasize. Create a writing environment that provides a sense of comfort and security. By creating a sense of comfort and security, you're going to be more apt to be honest with yourself. You're going to be more comfortable writing some of your deepest thoughts, some of your deepest emotions. So think about what makes you feel comfortable. Is having soft lighting like a candle? Is meditating or praying before you're writing? Is having your favorite photos by you? Is having your favorite blanket with you? Anything that just makes you feel comfortable. Because again, you want to create a writing environment that supports you. Creating a writing environment that you feel safe to be open, honest, and willing to share your deepest thoughts and feelings. From Dr. Pennebaker's research, he has some principles that I want to share with you. I'm going to be sharing some writing prompts that he suggests for each day. So these are sort of some general principles that will help with your writing. The first one is acknowledge your emotions openly. It's important to feel and label both positive emotions and negative emotions that you might feel from the stressors or experiences that you're writing about. The second one is, at some point during the 4 days of writing, is construct a coherent story. As I keep mentioning, attempt to make a meaningful story of what happened, how it's affecting you, how it's affecting you now, how it affected you in the past. You can write your story by hand, you can type it, whatever you're comfortable with. And if typing or writing isn't comfortable, you can also tape record it, whatever works for you. Another principle that he found from his research is at some point switch perspectives. When we first start writing, we usually write from our own perspective, and that's completely fine. But to get the most benefit, at some point, gradually begin the emotional upheaval and think about the emotional upheaval from other people's perspective. Again, though, remember, you're writing the story to benefit you. So if you need to write from your perspective for a while, that's totally fine. But at some point, if you can think about the emotional upheaval from others' perspectives, that's going to help you create more meaning, more understanding, more coherence. Find your voice. This is really important to help you create meaning. Express yourself openly and honestly. I know I've said that over and over again. But especially, we're often avoiding some of these. Think back to that poem that I read. Find a voice that reflects who you are. Be open, be honest. Any writing style is fine because you want to write in a way that makes you feel like you can be free with your thoughts, free with your feelings. So what I'm going to do now is share what Dr. Pennebaker would recommend each of the 4 days. And as I mentioned, research indicates that any writing style works fine. But the key is be yourself when you write. Express yourself when you write. Find meaning in your experience. So day 1, Write about your deepest thoughts and feelings related to the emotional upheaval that's affecting you the most. Now, the key is you want to write continuously for 20 minutes. And that's really essential, because once you start writing, you're going to get into a groove. If you stop, you're going to lose that. So the research shows that once you start, don't stop. Really delve into how it's been affecting you. Write about the event itself, how you felt when it occurred, how you feel about it now, how it ties into other parts of your life, both current and past. How is the upheaval related to those you love, you fear, you've been angry at? How is the upheaval related to your current life, your friends, your family, work, other important areas of your life? How is the upheaval related to your past, your future, who you are now? And again, after you're done writing that first day, take some time to reflect and show some self-compassion for yourself. You might be sad for a little bit, but that'll go away, just like that sad movie Dr. Pennebaker said. You might be sad for a little bit, but you'll feel wiser. Day 2, really examine your deepest thoughts, feelings about the emotional upheaval. Write about the same event, upheaval, or another one, but again, do this continuously for 20 minutes. The writing instructions are like day 1, but also think about how this upheaval is affecting your life in general. You can focus on the same topics that you've been examining, another upheaval, but do this continuously for 20 minutes. Focus on your emotions about those events that are affecting your life significantly now. Don't repeat exactly what you've already been written. You want to think about different aspects of that. You can write about the same topic, but then explore it from a different perspective, a different point of view. Remember, Dr. Pennebaker mentioned that exploring that emotional upheaval from other perspectives can help create more meaning in your experience. Explore those emotions and thoughts that may be particularly vulnerable for you, things that you may be avoiding, and do this as much as you're comfortable. Explore how this event shaped your life and who you are. And again, most importantly, after you're done writing, take some time after you're writing to self-reflect, to do some self-compassion. Day 4, think about the events, emotions, thoughts you have discussed in your writings. What else do you want to write about that you haven't explored? Dr. Pennebaker has some writing prompts. What are your emotions, thoughts at this point? What have you learned, lost, gained from the upheaval? How will these events from the past guide your thoughts in the future? I think this is really important. Again, what have you learned that's going to guide you in the future? Be honest with yourself about the upheaval. And this one I want you to really think about. Think about the entire experience and what meaningful story you can create to take with you in the future, to guide you, to be with you. What have you learned that you can take with you in the future? Dr. Pennebaker then says, now take 2 to 3 days off from writing. You've done a lot. You've learned a lot. Now it's time to just relax a little bit and bask in what you've learned. You can always go back and do it again. Remember, you can do those booster writing sessions. You can do this again. But just take some time to relax. Take some time to just do some self-compassion. One thing that I want to mention that I think is important, and this is Dr. Pennebaker's flip-out rule. If you feel that you're writing about a particular topic that's too much for you, too much to handle, don't write about it. Just stop and do another topic. You can write about it another time. If you know that you aren't ready to address a particularly painful topic, write about something else. Tackle it when you're ready. You can always write again. If you feel that you will flip out by writing, don't write. Again, remember, you can do it another day, another week, another month. What to think about after writing, after that writing process. And remember, Dr. Pennebaker said take several days after writing, so you're not doing this right after you're done with day 4, but after you've taken a couple days just to relax. Compare how you felt the last day or two before you wrote. Sorry, let me say that again. Compare how you felt the last day or two of writing with before you wrote. Are you feeling more positive with your emotions, your thoughts? Are you sleeping better? Are you feeling physically healthier? According to Dr. Pennebaker's research, most people do. But here's what's really important, is not everyone likes this expressive writing process. Not everyone benefits from this expressive writing process. That's why we're sharing multiple ways to process emotions and feelings in this Restore series. A small percentage may feel slightly worse. If, though, you're feeling significantly worse, and again, this is rare, but it may happen, it's important to contact a professional to discuss your feelings. As with any issue, it's always important to talk to somebody if you're not feeling good. Again, this is rare, but not everyone benefits from this process, nor does everyone like this process. And that's normal with any technique that we talk about. I want to end with going back to that last part of the poem. Remember chapter 4 and 5. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street. Carl Rogers, a famous research psychologist, said, fully experiencing one's emotions facilitates growth. The process of actualization involves struggles, even pain. Actualization occurs most freely when a person is aware of their experiences. I hope that sharing your story with yourself or with others, as Kevin discussed last week, or as Susan will be sharing in just a few moments, will be as powerful and positive as it has been with me. And thank you for letting me share tonight, and I really appreciate being with you. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristin Bransford. That was wonderful. We appreciate your expertise, and we look forward to next week when you'll be talking about benefit finding, and we'll be thinking all about the positive psychology then next week. Thank you so much. We appreciate that and look forward to next week. I just want to make you guys get up a little bit because I am a nurse, and it's the sitting disease is the number one disease. So stand up, do some exercises, do some jumping jacks, punch out a little bit, move your legs around just for a few seconds so that you can get those sittings out. We need to keep our body and blood moving so that we stay healthy, especially during this time when we're all isolated, and much of us are staying in our own homes a lot of the time. Yesterday, my husband was on call, and he came home this morning and he said, Susan, what did you do yesterday? I said, I didn't go anywhere. I was in the house the whole entire time, except to the mailbox, and he said that didn't count. So anyway, today I'm going to talk to you about lament. And lament is, I'm going to try and keep it very simple, so it's something you can learn to practice. When you think about lament, what do you think about? Who taught you to cry? Life begins with a gasp, a wail, a cry. And life, it ends with a gasp, a wail, and a cry. And in between, your life is full of stories which affords you so many opportunities to cry out, grasp, moan in God's presence. Have you found the time to share your sorrow, your disappointments, and pain with God in God's presence? I saw a recent internet posting that some talk to you in their free time, some free their time to talk to you. Which is the way that you're spending your time with God? Are we too busy to bring our sorrows, our disappointments of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 to God and all those other years beforehand? A lament can be unfamiliar, and it can be uncomfortable, it can be hard. It's a minor key song for you musicians out there. A prayerful lifeline to God is also what lament can be for us. Lament is the spilling out of our story to God. I have a psalm for you today that I'm going to share. Psalm 77, 2-3. In the day of my trouble, I seek the Lord. In the night, my hand is stretched out without wearying. My soul refuses to be comforted. When I remember God, I moan. Would you cry out to God if you were not in pain? How many times have you felt pain, that gasp, that cry, that moan in the last year or in some years before? A loss of a loved one, a lost chance to forgive someone or to tell them that you love them, the loss of a job, a marriage, a dream, or a question that needs to be answered. As Christians, when we cry out in pain, we cry out in faith and hopefulness that God will be there as he promises to intercede in our story, to turn heartache to hope. There's no perfect way to lament. Just like life, sometimes our lament may be a little messy. So I hope this today will help you look at a less messy way to lament. Are your sorrows and complaints dark clouds? I'm infatuated with clouds, I must say. I love to watch them. I love to take pictures of them. They're beautiful, sometimes ominous. In the small town I grew up in, southern Minnesota, you had to pass over a big hill a few miles out of town in order to leave town. And you had to come back over that big hill to get back into town. Many times, the weather on one side of the Keister Hill was very different than the opposite side. One side was rain clouds, and maybe even dangerous fog. On the other side, there was no fog. Maybe some sunshine was peeking through the clouds, and it was dry. But you had to pass over the hill and through the rain and the fog and the clouds to find the spokes of sunshine and a clear way to the other side. Mark Vergop in Dark Clouds, Deep Mercy, Discovering the Grace of Lament, which is one of the books that we have recommended in our recommended reading, defines 4 steps of lament and these 4 words to mark each step. The first one is an address to God or a turn. The second, a complaint or we complain. The third is a request or an ask. The fourth is an expression of trust or praise. Trust. 1, we open our heart and turn toward God in prayer. It is honest, it's risky, it's raw, and it's unscripted, as in Pennebaker's writing or telling of your story. Number 2, wasn't that complaining? Some of us are really good at complaining. We maybe don't have to go through this one. But it is clear in biblical laments, they are blunt about what their sorrows are and where they have come from and why they're suffering in it. Complaint brings tension. How many of us like tension? But we need to live with some tension in order to move forward. 3, then we ask. 3 is ask. We usually ask God to do something for our sorrow, disappointment, or brokenness. It always seems like it's pretty easy to ask for something. Some people have a hard time. And number 4, the lovely ending, is renewed trust in praise in God, a true show of faith. Faith. That's where we want to end up. In Romans 8:28, Romans is one of the best places for Christians, and especially the 8th chapter. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. That's where we want to end up in our lament. That's where we want our number 4, to know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. So what if we gave God the silent treatment? Do you do that to your friends, to your family, to your spouse when you're upset? Because our painful circumstances are too hard to open up and to call upon God? Are you hopeless saying God doesn't care? Maybe he doesn't think he will hear or will not respond. Or what if nothing will change? Do we stop praying? If we stop praying, we've lost our belief in God. When you pray to God during a lament, it is assurance that we believe in God and we are invested in him and he is invested in us. Silence wears on your soul and can damage us. Silence can kill your relationship with God or your relationship with your spouse, your friend, your family member. Just as Pennebaker found, keeping your story harbored away inside harms us, and expressing it helps us in the healing process. Praying takes belief. It takes belief that brings our story to God, will change us, build trust in our relationship with God, and help us find our way forward. As Vergagop says, it takes lament's full grace as we turn from honest questions to confident trust. By practicing lament, you will learn the shift of grace from honest questions to confidence and trust in our Lord. Number 1, talking to God. Okay, we're Minnesotans, aren't we? What do we say? Everything's fine. It's fine. How many times have I heard my kids tell me that? I'm fine, Mom. I'm fine. That's such Minnesota stoicism. If you're not fine, talk to someone. Talk to God. Express your feelings. Validate your thoughts. Pray your frustrations. Pray your questions. Pray your stories. Keep talking to God. Pray your tears, your moans, your gasps in search of truth and trust. Find a new language in a lament. Keep talking to God. Keep struggling. Keep wrestling. Tell your story. Express your disappointment. Life is often hard. Here's a few suggestions for complaining in correct fashion, because we all want to be fashionable, right? Be humble. You can ask pain-filled questions humbly. Can you leave behind arrogance and pride? 2, be honest. He will not be surprised by your problems. God knows it all. Don't get stuck on complaint. How many of us are stuck in complaint? That's all we can do. Move through it. Find the trust and the grace at the end. Choose to trust and reorient your lives by lessons learned, our lives by lessons learned, observed, and discovered, as we will when you write the Pennebaker or do a lament. As 2020 turns to 2021, we've had to reorient our hearts to what's really important, finding the foundations of our lives or what really matters. We begin to find the roadmap of grace through lament. The clouds begin to open up. We may even find a rainbow at the end of all of this. So try lament. Thank you. Again, thank you all for joining us. Please join us next week, Tuesday, February 9th. It's our third and final session of this year's Restore 3 series. You have a little homework. Kristin gave you a little homework in writing your story, writing your thoughts and writing your emotions, but finding and leaving way for you to heal and to have some compassionate care for yourself. So number one, try to write your story or start writing your stories in the very way she defined it. If you have registered for the Restore series, you have received Chris's PowerPoint, and you should be able to work off of that if you have any questions. You can also email us at social@spdlc.org, and we can answer your questions. We're happy to do that. We're happy to walk alongside you through this as you view your life and your circumstances under a new lens. Also for next week, you have a little homework from me. And that is to find a square piece of paper. This is a 6x6 piece of paper, origami paper. This is a 10 by 10, I believe, origami paper. It's a little lighter. I have some here at the church that you can pick up outside door A, and I will actually put that in the notes that I send out to everyone that's registered for the Restore series. But any type of paper works, but pretty thin paper, like a regular typing paper. This is a little smoother. And you can either write your story on here that you've done with the Pennebaker method, or you can write your lament on here that you've done with the method I told you, and I will send out a little bit more of that information that I had in my PowerPoint also for you to use for that lament. Or there will also be included, I know, so many options. This is 2021, right? Which is a one-word devotion. If you only want one word to write on your paper, and then we will fold these papers into a crane. And if you know anything about the story of the healing and hope from a crane, it is so beautiful, and I'll be sharing that with you next week as I teach you how, with a special origami technique, to fold your own crane. And just heads up, the first time I folded it, it didn't look like a crane. But I was watching the news, so hopefully when you do it, you will be watching me, and I'll be able to talk you through how to make a crane. So for next week, a little homework, work on that writing. Find something in your soul, whether it's through the lament, talking to God. Really look at it. And next week, Kristin will help us find the benefits and a benefit finding of looking at your stories with different perspectives. If you have any more questions, like I said, just give us a jingle on the email. And I want to thank our crew, Paul and Darren, for doing an awesome job, and for all the staff at St. Philip the Deacon, Kate and Tracy and Nancy and everyone in the front office. And I'd like to thank the pastors for all their support for this series. Let's end with a couple of little prayers. Gracious God, God of love and stories. We thank you for this time together of learning and exploring our stories. With these new lenses, help us begin to see our stories, your stories, in new and life-giving ways, that we may spread your love and kindness to those who we touch each day. Be with us this week as we write, ponder, and restore. I thank you for each and every one of the lovely people here with us. Bless them on their journey in thanks and praise to you. Amen. And just a little prayer also, because you can never pray too much, a prayer for letting go. Dear God, in this moment, I let go. I let go of my worries, my anxieties, my thoughts, and my to-dos. And I don't do so because when I let go, I'm able to receive. When my hands are formed in tight fists, when I hang on in tight control, when I close off my heart and my spirit, I cannot receive your blessings for me. So right now, let go, receive these blessings. I receive your loving presence around me and within me. I receive your peace that passes all understanding. I receive the relationships that surround me today. I let go and trust you. I let go and entrust in the still, small voice. I gladly receive this gift of letting go and letting you lead me and guide me. Amen.